Hello, today my name is Askaroff. I'm going to talk to you about possibly one of the most beautiful sewing machines in the world. And God, it's absolutely freezing here this morning. It's in the middle of winter. This sewing machine was made by Edward Ward. Now, he was a lad born in a little village of Brewood in Staffordshire, 1829, so we're talking very early. By the age of 12, he was already apprenticed to work on the railways. You know, it's amazing that they started at that age. And he used his little skills that he'd learnt to get down to London. And once he was in the big city, once he was in the smoke, he got working in the sewing machine businesses, the pioneer sewing machine businesses that were just starting out at the time. He disappeared down to Maidstone for a while, where he messed around in a paper factory, but he went back to London. And by 1860, he'd bought a premises just off Oxford Street, and here he started to make niche sewing machines. He made sewing machines that sewed straps onto leather boots. He flowering embroidery machines and little sort of elasticators and stuff like that. So he was making all these niche sewing machines, but all the time in his mind he was working on a brilliant sewing machine, a sewing machine that would blow everything away, a sewing machine that was so good. This, I don't know if you can just see here, but this is a free arm, very narrow, because he's used to working on boot machines which needed a narrow foot, a narrow arm. And here this slides up and goes up into a beautiful free arm, and that's a flatbed, and then you just put that away. So this machine, the Ward arm and platform, was patented in 1873. Now, this is probably one of the best machines that was ever made. There was a magazine at the time called the Queen magazine, and it described this machine as the most perfect dressmaker's machine yet invented. I mean, how brilliant is that? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about this, and then I'm going to get some close-up photographs, because as we get closer to this machine you really see the beauty and the genius and the engineering. He invented the first self-threading shuttle, and also he went on making these beautiful hand-built machines, but all the time mass production was taking over and he couldn't compete with that. And after 40 years in the sewing machine business, he packed up. So in 1892 he packed the lot up and he retired, and he was quite disillusioned because he just couldn't compete with the big boys. These things took weeks to make, and each one was handmade, and each one was perfect. He's got a vernier caliber adjusting tension unit, and all bits of brass and hardened steel, and perfection in engineering. Unfortunately, when he retired he had nothing to do, so he's out in Peckham, actually, in East London, in 1896, and he's going along in his little pony and trap, and he gets thrown from his carriage, and then he gets killed by the pony. So he came to an absolutely tragic end. But what you're looking at here is the Ward armoured platform, and quite possibly one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful, sewing machine in the world, and you'll see that when we get some close-ups. Well, there you go. I'm going to stop talking now and show you a few close-ups of the machine. Thanks for watching.